Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be starting a new thing on my channel called Tag Tuesdays. Basically, it is pretty self-explanatory actually. I will be doing tags on Tuesdays. There's so many tags out there that I think are fun and interesting, and I like hearing the answers from other people, so I feel like maybe people might like to hear my answers for them. So yeah, instead of just making this a tag channel, I'm just going to make a tag day. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that, and if you have any tags for me to do that you think are funny or interesting, leave them in the comments and I will do them. Let's get started with the first tag. So this one is called the Hopeful Book Tag. So the first person to make and create this tag was the Bookfinch, who is a booktuber, and then I saw it personally on the channel of Claire Rousseau, who is another booktuber that I follow, and I love her videos. And yeah, she basically said if you feel like doing this tag, then I tag you in it, which is probably what I'm going to do at the end of this tag as well, because I don't know who would want to do this. And so I'm counting myself in that, I'm doing it. So basically the idea is that this world right now is, you know, awful. It's a dumpster fire, it's falling apart, everything's terrible. So yeah, normally you would turn to books to escape that, and so here are a couple different questions about books that might give you hope or make you feel less distressed and helpless in this crazy world we're living in. So yeah. So the first question is, name a world that you would like to escape into. I'm pretty sure I've answered this question before in this channel in one way or another, whether it was a different tag or something, but I think I would probably just choose the Shire, because being a hobbit in the Shire just sounds like the best life ever. I've definitely said that before. This is also the answer that the original maker of the tag gave, but I mean, we're both book people, so it makes sense that we would want to just have a little hobbit hole to crawl into and read. But yeah, definitely the Shire. The next question is a romance that made you all mushy inside. This is going to be possibly a controversial one, but mine is Harry Potter and Ginny. I love their relationship. In the movies, it was not done justice. I mean, I don't hate movie Ginny like a lot of people do, but it definitely, her character was undercut in order to save time, which I get, or whatever. But I really loved reading their little romance in the books, because I just loved how Harry was her childhood crush, and when she finally, you know, actually got confidence in herself, that's when he was attracted to her, not when she was super, you know, insecure and weird. I also liked how Harry is such a dope when it comes to love and relationships. He just is I see Ginny with another guy and I feel angry. Whatever, I don't know what that could be. It's you like her, you're an idiot. And just his journey of, you know, discovering that he feels more for her than he thinks. I also loved their first kiss in the books. Again, completely ruined in the movies, but in the books, I believe it's right after they win the Quidditch, the House Cup, not the House Cup, the Quidditch Cup, Quidditch House Cup? The Quidditch Cup, and they're all celebrating, and Harry walks into the common room, and Ginny runs up to him to tell him, and they just kiss, and then their relationship is just starting. And yeah, I love how it's never really a focal point of the books. It's not a main plot story by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just kind of there. Ginny's just kind of there, and she's kind of just hanging out with them, and is more of an equal than just a tertiary character. I also just love their banter. For example, the scene where Romuald Vane asked Ginny if Harry has a hippogriff tattoo on his chest, and she says, no, it's a Hungarian horntail, much more macho. It was a quiet romance. It wasn't the whole point of the story. It didn't, the final solution to everyone's problems wasn't them being together, but they still found each other in the middle of all the mess that they lived in. The next question is a friendship that we should all aspire to have, and I'm going to choose the group from Lumberjanes. I was going to choose one specific two-girl friendship from that group, but I honestly think that as a group they work so well together. They all have their certain strengths and their certain weaknesses, and they all work together, and they make a really great team. And they all clearly have a lot of respect for each other. They don't really fight ever. I don't think there's ever really a time that they actually fight. They have disagreements, and they obviously are different people, but there's never a cat fight, or you know, there's never a split in the group, at least as far as I've read. I've only read the first 5. I don't know if there's even any more than that. But yeah, they're definitely not catty or shallow or anything like that. Like, they're just friends, and sometimes they might not want to do the same thing, sometimes they might not agree 100%, but they're still friends at the end of the day. The next question is actually intermission, where I'm supposed to insert the cutest picture of my animal that I can find. So here is Bear in all of his ridiculous glory. The next question is a character in leadership that inspires you. I'm going to choose a like non-traditional leader, as in they're not really a leader by name, and that's Nancy Drew. So obviously Nancy's not like a leader in the sense that she like commands an army, or she, you know, is in charge of a school, or she's like a coach of a team, or whatever, anything like that. But I think she's definitely the leader of like their friend group and their like small little like sleuthing team, with like George and Bess and Ned and like some other people sometimes, like her father and stuff like that. She always like takes the lead, she always takes the helm, she always knows exactly what she wants to do. And she also is a very kind and like understanding leader. Like, she listens to what's going on and she appreciates all the help that she gets from all of her friends. Like, she isn't, you know, she doesn't take it for granted. She always, even though it's like pretty obvious that they're going to be willing to go with her on her next adventure, she always asks them, that kind of thing. And I also love how she is willing to jump in and do this, the most dangerous part by herself. Like, she often will like go in and try to like eavesdrop like inside of the base of the bad guys or whatever, and she's willing to do that, but she also understands what everyone in the group's weaknesses and strengths are, and so she's able to judge who should do what. So like, if someone needs to run really fast or really far or both, they'll choose George because she's like an athletic one, or if we need someone who's like a strong imposing presence, like we can get Ned to do that because he's like a big tall guy in the group, and stuff like that. So I think that she's a really good leader, even if she's not like a lieutenant or anything. Okay, the next question is recommend 3 books that fill you with hope. So the first one that I'm going to recommend is actually not a fiction book, it's a non-fiction book, and that is Freedom, My Book of Firsts by J.C. Lee Duggard. J.C. Lee Duggard, you may know her name. She was famously kidnapped at 11 and was held in captivity by her abductors for 18 years of her life, until finally getting rescued later in her life. Obviously that's horrible, like that has no hope in it at all, but this book isn't about that. Like, she has written a memoir, you know, kind of explaining what it was like to go through that experience and to live in captivity of someone else and to like, you know, go through that trauma, like terrible trauma. But this book is Freedom, My Book of Firsts, and so it's basically her documenting her first year out of captivity. Even though she was in captivity from 11 to like 27, 28, 29, something like that, didn't get to experience a lot of things that are like normal for people to experience. Like, she didn't go to school, she didn't go to high school, she doesn't have like her high school diploma, she never got to go on trips or do things that she really wanted to try, or figure out what kind of person she wants to be, and figure out what kind of job she wants to have relationships. All those things were stolen from her, and so it's all about her going out and like trying these different things, living her life. And yeah, it really fills me with a lot of hope because she truly appreciates everything. Like, the same kind of thing that you or me would just take for granted or would be maybe annoyed by. She is just like so happy to get to experience it, and so it just reminds you like how good life is and how grateful we could be for things that we aren't always super grateful for. So yeah. The next book is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This book I struggled to read a little bit actually because the main character has an anxiety disorder, and she deals in it because it's from her perspective. A lot of the writing is kind of about her, you know, racing thoughts and her anxious thoughts, and kind of the logic that comes out of anxiety, which is sometimes very flawed logic. And I can say that because I suffer from anxiety as well, and I know what it's like to have your brain take these huge leaps and for you to be like, wait, that doesn't make sense, but your brain is like, no. But anyways, and so it's kind of hard to read if you also, like, it was a bit triggering at some points because it was so well written in its anxiety. But the thing that made it hopeful for me was that at the end of the book, the character isn't cured. She doesn't magically get rid of all of her anxiety. She isn't, you know, normal again. She isn't fixed. But it is a happy ending. Like, it is a good conclusion to the story. And so it kind of gives you hope about how, sure, you know, like, I know that I'm never going to be fixed. I'm never going to be cured. I'm never going to be better. Like, anxiety is part of your brain and your mind and now my personality. So it's never going to be erased completely. Like, you can, you know, reset a broken leg. But you can live with it. And you can learn to deal with it, and you can learn to cope with it, and you can still have a good life and friends and a relationship and everything. The last one is not just a book, but it's also not really hopeful in the normal kind of sense. And so, okay, I'll just say what it is. So it's the Wayward Children series by Shawnee McGuire. So the reason why I say this isn't like a book that makes me hopeful in the same way the other ones did is because it's not like the story is particularly like inspiring or anything like that. It's actually quite dark and depressing. I mean, there's moments of happiness and there's moments of like friendship and overcoming problems and stuff like that. But ultimately the messages are kind of dark. And so it doesn't make me hopeful in that kind of sense. But it does make me hopeful in the sense that in these series of books, there are characters that are gay, there are characters that are trans, there are characters that are asexual, there are characters that are non-binary, there are characters, like there are all these different types of people. And they are all in the book that isn't about that fact about them. They're all just normal characters who, you know, those identities are acknowledged and they're identified, but they're not the only characteristic about that person. That their whole characteristics, and that's just one of, like, their whole characters, and that's just one of their characteristics. And so yeah, and they all blend together really well. It's not awkward, it's not, you know, shoehorned in any way. And so that gives me hope that in future, more young adult authors can realize that they don't need to make such a big deal about these people, about these types of people with these identities. Like they just exist. Like not everything that happens in their life is 100% like revolving around their sexuality or their gender identity or whatever. They have other things going on in their life. And so yeah, I'm hopeful for the future of reading because having that many different characters and perspectives and types of people made the book series that much richer for me. Okay, so that is all the questions of the hopeful book tag. The last one is optional and it is tag people if you want to. I'm going to do the same cop-out that got me to do the tag in the first place, which is say I'm just gonna not tag anyone, and if you want to do it, it's all yours. Okay, so let me know what you guys think about my answers, if you agree, disagree, and if you have any more future tags suggestions, put them in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Later days.